Good day everyone. So for today's video we'll be reporting about programming. So we have different types of programming. So we have different types of programming using the different types of languages. We have the C language, C++, we have Python, we have JavaScript, and so forth. So to start the introduction of our report on the programming world, you can begin by providing a brief overview of the importance of programming in today's technology-driven society. You might want to mention some key points, like the role of programming in software development. It is important also to us, its impact on the various industry and ever-evolving natures of programming languages and technologies. So, here's an example. So, welcome to the world of programming, where the lines of code shape the digital landscape of our modern world. In an era defined by technology, programming is the foundation upon the innovation, automation, and digital transformations. Our belt, these reports delves into a dynamic realm of programming, exploring its significant evolution and the key trends that are shaping programs landscape today. So that's all the examples of the programming that I told you earlier. So by the way, what is programming environment? So among of my group here right now doesn't know about what is programming. So let me tell you, programming environment is the environment refers to a set of tools, libraries, and resources that enable developers to create the test and debug software applications. And that's it, the main idea or the main course inside a recipe of the programming. So, if we will talk about programming environment, what comes in your mind? So way back in those early 18th century, the industrial technology changed the world by using water mill and steam engines to mechanize productions, to be followed by the second industrial technology, came by the assembly line and enhanced electricity to power mass production, petroleum to power transportation and industry. That's are the example of the second industrial technology, and soon we will be overlooking for the third generations of the industrial technology, and see you later. So right now we're living in the third industrial revolution, a technological revolution. Altogether, we live, we work, we relate, and one another. This revolution, driven by the technologies that we have right now, is the IoT. Stands for Internet of Things. AI stands for Artificial Intelligence. Cloud computing. Information computing technology, and so on and so forth. So the examples of these types are the mechanical devices. So mechanical device. So the example is, before we're just using watch. So ang watch nga itong gigamit before is the battery. And then on the IT devices, through mechanical devices, they're using the smartwatch. So in which we can use our cell phone to connect on this smartwatch, and we can read messages. It can also check our heart rate, so on and so forth. There's a lot of things that you can do on this smartwatch. You can listen to music, you can read messages from Facebook, and there's a differences between the natural watch compared So another example of mechanical device is the telephone. So before, we're just using wireless telephone to communicate our loved ones. And because of the high-tech technology, a lot of expert or a lot of people who just study programmers or what do you call this, hardware and software, that has a course of Bachelor of Industrial Technology major in computer, they improvise phone. So cell phone, from telephone to cell phone, they keep on upgrading. So the telephone is a wireless, while the phone is a device that we can communicate our loved ones also from too far away by using SIM cards together with the tablets, because mostly some of the tablets have a SIM cards that is used so that they can contact their loved ones. So that's the other examples of the mechanical devices in the IT world. We have also programs, computers, programmer in this subject, which is right now we're just studying the program based on the C language and Python. That's the languages that we're just using right now. Programs, computers, and programmer. In this subject, you will learn core concepts of computers programmer, basic programming, block sequence selections, and interaction. So example, you play a computer game called Blockly because of the codes for documenting, writing a program through real life. Using that program, you can do it. So that is all for the programming environment. So see you on the next video. So we have the three types of the data types, which is the constant, the variable, and the data types. So these three types is very important because we're just using this one for our programming. Without this one, the programming that we just use, it will not be run. So right now, we're gonna look forward for the other program, which is one of that is the operators. The operators are the symbols or the keywords used to perform operations on data. So the example of that is the arithmetic operator and also the comparison operators. So if we're gonna see arithmetic operators, that is the one that we say MDAS. MDAS is for addition, multiplication, division, and subtraction. So that is the one that very important in programming. And if we're gonna see comparisons operators, there is some types of equal, greater than, less than. That's the part of example also. And the last one also is we're just using logical operators. So the example of logical operators is and, the semicolon, and everything, because without that one, there's a tendency that the program will not run and it can cause syntax or an error. So right now, we're gonna continue to the control flow. The control flow refers to the order in which statements of instructions are executed in a program. Just for example, conditional statement. It else for making decisions in code. So there is a loops, there is for, there is while, there's do, there while for specific tasks. So they have different tasks to do while using the control flow. Because without control flow, there's a tendency on your programming it will not be processed. The program will not be run. There's a tendency it will be debugging. So there's also a switch statements used for multi-way branching in code. So that one is very important because it will not be important. There's a tendency that when you're gonna send a message or something, it will not directly come on that messages. To be continued for the executable code. Executable code is the code that can be run and executed by computers processors. Like for example, in a C++ program, the code within the main function is executable code. That's the most important, because if you don't have program, there's a tendency that your computer will not run, your computer will not on. So we need to have a program so that it will function. Executable code is also known as a machine code or a binary code. There are some examples on that. Machine languages as a binary code, assembly language, compiled programs, scripts, interpreted languages, bytecode or intermediate code, and the scripting engines. That is the different types of executable codes that we're going to use in programming. Without that, we cannot proceed, or we cannot process the programs in the computer. So right now, this is the flow of the program that we just created in all the questions that Ma'am Adriel gave. So if we're gonna demonstrate all the running, the debugging, and also building. Okay, if we're gonna see building, running, and debugging, building refers to the process of converting human readable source code into a machine executable code or an executable file. This typically involves compiling or interpreting the code, checking for syntax errors, and generating an output that can be executed by computers. Examples: in a C++ programs, you might use a C++ compiler like G++ to build your source code into an executable file. Because without that one, there's a tendency on your programs, it just always got error. So the next one is running refers to the process of executing an already built program. This involves passing control to the compile on interpreted code, which performs the task specified in the source code. So example, after successful building my program, the previous example you can run it using the command, while the other one is debugging. Debugging is the process of identifying and correcting errors or bugs in a program. It is allowed or involves identifying and diagnosing issue in the code, the many cause of the program to behave incorrectly or produce unexpected result. Like example, using the GNU debugger or GDB is a common way to debug C programs. You can start GDB and attach it to your program. And also, one of the problem in debugging that can cause the flow of the program that you just created, it will not run because some of the program that you just made is lacking of comma. It is also lacking with the HT Studio or something like that. That's all.